My girlfriend, she has a 5-year-old daughter from a previous marriage, and when she moved in with me, we agreed to split bills 50-50. Not long after, she quit her job. She talks about wanting to become a TikToker.
There's no world where I take on a second job and we don't have the conversation. No, you can't quit your job. And I'm supportive, but also you got kids that aren't mine. And while I do contribute, it's not technically my responsibility. Those should be your responsibility first.
I just think that it's very important for kids to have stability, and I don't think that it's fair for her to not have that conversation. I kind of feel like she just didn't really want to work.
Clearly, there should have been some boundaries set, and you didn't set those boundaries. Once somebody overstepped those, then they're going to continue their behavior.
I just wonder if she just automatically assumed he's just such a nice guy, he's going to take care of me and my daughter. If you allow someone to feed you, you're giving them permission to also starve you as well. How do I respectfully tell her I think she needs to move out without it becoming a huge fight, especially with her daughter involved?
The answer is you. All right, welcome to another episode of Love Up for Debate. Before I let you hear this story, because that intro is wild. I know y'all are waiting for this story, but I got to tell you, please like and subscribe. Before I can let you go further, you have to like and subscribe. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. It allows us to continue our journey on giving y'all crazy stories, giving you our opinions. Even if you don't like our opinions, at least you get some really, really good stories out of it, okay? And then you can argue in the comments if you want to. We'd actually appreciate it if you did. In the meantime, like, subscribe, and without further ado, Karushi, I'll let you read your story.
All right, let's get into it.
All right.
So I've been dating my girlfriend for a little over a year. She has a 5-year-old daughter from a previous marriage. Early on, we both agreed we didn't want marriage. We don't want any more kids. And when she moved in with me, we agreed to split bills 50-50. Things were good for a while, but after we went to one of her friends' weddings, she started talking about wanting marriage and more kids. I told her respectfully that my feelings on marriage and kids hadn't changed. And after that, things shifted. She became distant and cold towards me. Not long after, she quit her job out of nowhere, saying she wanted to do something different. I tried to support her, but it's now been 3 months and she still hasn't worked. Instead, she talks about wanting to become a TikToker and spends a lot of time out with friends. Anytime I bring up bills or work, it turns into an argument. At this point, I'm working 2 full-time jobs while also in school just to support all of us. I pay for rent, groceries, utilities, everything. I care about her and her daughter a lot, but I'm exhausted and starting to feel like I've been pushed into being a husband, provider, and stepdad when that was never the plan. I don't think she's a bad person, but I do think we want very different things now. How do I respectfully tell her I think she needs to move out without it becoming a huge fight, especially with her daughter involved? It's a deep one.
The kid, that's such a layer that you can't get past. I got to go back. How long have they been together?
A year.
A year, and she's moved in with her daughter.
Yes.
Pretty quick.
So quick, right?
Not being judgmental. People fall in love quick. People fall in love with the kids quick. It's not hard, especially you got a little one, and they're cute, and they remind they're just an extension of your partner.
Yes.
So it's not hard to do, but a year, obviously we can't go back. So this is not like, oh, you could have done things different, because I am not the one to give that type of advice, because you can't rewind the time. So, but yes, moving in with a girl with a daughter, and I'm not saying there's no timeline on stuff like that, but it is quick. It's pretty quick, and you can run into situations like this, because the issue. That's not really an issue, but the issue with this is no one's really at fault here. I don't have either one of them at fault here. You have a girl. Did they say I don't know their age. Let's say they're young. Let's say it doesn't matter.
They were mid-20s.
Here's the thing. She's not 50, right, and changing her lifestyle. She's mid-20s, still figuring out life. There's nothing wrong with changing. There's nothing wrong with changing your goals and your wants and needs out of life. You're still discovering things that you like. Heck, even into your 30s, you find out like, oh, I actually don't like this. I really, I enjoy this much, much more. I want to pursue this. People go back to school in their 30s and their 40s. I always tell the story of going to college for a degree, pursuing that degree, working in that degree for 10 years and realizing after 10 years and 4 years of schooling that I do not like this career.
Yes,
and it took me a really long time to admit it to myself because that's a long time of schooling and I was successful in the career.
Yeah.
And I still use that actual expertise today, obviously, in the stuff that we do now. However, I did not enjoy it and I lied to myself for a really long time. She's still in that phase where there's nothing wrong with her changing her aspirations. I don't, we can judge her and say like, oh, she wants to become a TikToker. Like that's the new thing now. That's the new generation. Content creators. I can't speak like this is content. This is content creation. What we're doing. That's
exactly what we're doing right now.
And we're later in life. So, there's nothing wrong with somebody changing their career path. Or their aspirations or trying things that they didn't previously want to pursue.
Yeah.
Or like being or experiencing something or witnessing something that changes kind of your trajectory in life. She goes to this wedding and it sparked something different inside of her. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? She's not obligated to, we live one life. She's not obligated to consistently stay on the one track that she promised her boyfriend.
Yeah, that is so true.
However, he's not wrong for not wanting to go that direction. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because he's come to a crossroads, it sounds like. Unfortunately for him, she is allowed to do, I don't want to say unfortunately, but she's allowed to change what she wants to do in life, change if she wants to have kids, change if she wants to be married, whatever other goals that she has. There's nothing, I don't find anything wrong with that. I don't find anything wrong with her wanting to change that. And I don't find anything wrong with him not wanting to change.
Yeah, I agree.
Now you have two people who sadly are wanting two different things and it's not his fault. He didn't ask for this. He couldn't predict this. But this is just how things go. People change. And it wasn't like they were 10 years deep into the relationship and, she's turned around and become a whole new person, which even then is still doable. We are human and we live one life. And I think a lot of us go down a path that we just think we have to adhere to because society tells us to. And, she sounds like she wants to live a little bit free. And some people might call it selfish. But I don't think she owes him anything if these are the goals that she wants in life. If she decides, like having kids, that's a big deal. That's not like it's not like a small thing. It's not like, I can't think of an analogy, but having kids and not wanting to have kids, if that changes inside of you, you can't push that down.
That's so true.
You can't ignore that.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
That you can't ignore. It's life-changing.
Yeah. What does she do with that? Like, say, well, I did tell my boyfriend I don't want no more kids, so I guess I'll just stick with that for the rest of my life. Even like,
gotta stick to the agreement.
Yeah, that's unfair to her. It's unfair to him because we've talked about this before. He should want somebody who wants the same things that he wants out of life. And she should also want those same things. There's nothing wrong with either of them wanting different things at some point in their relationship and realizing that either A, they find some compromise, or B, you go your separate ways.
Yeah.
And I don't always condone that, but I do support somebody following their dreams, following their goals, finding out what they do enjoy in life, finding their true happiness. I think that's kind of one of the issues that we deal with a lot of now is that these societal pressures that we deal with and that we think we have to follow this, this one track, this one path, and we're unhappy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so, again, there's nothing wrong with either of them wanting different things. Him wanting to... It sounds like he's made a decision and wants to move her out of the house, or he wants her to move out and she has the kid. Sounds like that's the difficult thing. So I think we should get into that. However, I'll let you kind of respond to what I've said so far.
Yeah,
So I
no,
don't
of
talk
course.
for the next 20 minutes.
No, that was great because I feel like I align with what you were saying. Absolutely. I think for me, and this is just coming from someone, who is a mom.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's very important for like kids to have stability. And I don't think that it's fair for her to not have that conversation of like, I kind of feel like she just didn't really want to work. She was like telling him that, she's looking for a job, but then 3 months go by and it's like, are you not communicating with each other? Like, is she having a hard time finding a job? Like,
Yeah.
that's like where I struggled with. Was she actually trying to find like a new career path? And then of course she settled on the, I want to be a TikToker, which is totally fine. But I feel like a conversation has to be had of, are you, you go to your partner and you say, look, I think this is the career that I want to pursue.
Sure.
It's not going to be like a lucrative at first. Typically, right? It takes time, like as a creator, to like make money. Are you okay, like supporting me while I chase this dream?
Yeah.
And
yeah. You're
and
right.
and I do think that like maybe
yeah.
he would have he would have been on board with it, or that conversation could have been had then of
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, like I can't support that because then it'll require me to have to work so many jobs and I'm going to be exhausted, et cetera. Like, you know what I mean? So, I just wonder if she just automatically assumed like he's just such a nice guy, he's gonna take care of me and my daughter.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I don't like about the situation.
Yeah. And you're right. And let me kind of preface this with, you read a 2-3 minute story and I got to recall what I remember from the story and like initially react.
Oh yeah, no,
So-
you're good.
so those
I do
points-
the same thing.
Yeah, so those points absolutely make sense, and I probably I wasn't considering that in my response. Yeah, obviously there's some definitely lack of communication and selfishness there for not having for immediately going and doing this without consulting him and having that conversation. So yeah, let me kind of rewind that and say, while she's allowed to change career paths. She's allowed to have different wants and needs. She's not allowed to put those responsibilities on him. I was not thinking about the responsibility that he overtook when she was doing that. If she did that and it didn't cause him any sort of like extra responsibility, then there's no fault to her. But yes,
absolutely,
because it did affect him financially, mentally, physically. She definitely is in the wrong for that. Again, obviously his question is more so about trying to, move her out, which I feel like that's, I don't know. That's kind of like I said, we'll answer that question. I mean, I feel like that's a 5-second answer, but to try to kind of more so dissect the situation at hand, so that people that may go through something like this, yeah. So for her, not to sound redundant, but absolutely, she not confronting him is a problem. Expecting this, almost basically taking advantage. That is where the issue lies in, especially with a child. Because if this guy decides, like you have, to turn around and wake up today and say, I've decided I don't want to be in a relationship and I don't want a girlfriend, which he's entitled to do, just the same way you have changed your entire life, he can do that. And now what are you going to do?
Yes.
You have a child. So her responsibility is actually even more so to the child, because, definitely a conversation that needs to be had. And I guess we kind of do the whole thing of like, had it been us, right?
Yeah. It's our favorite game we play.
Yeah, right. It's all about perspective. So we got to try to break down how we would react if we were in their shoes.
Yeah.
If we had kind of these plans, been together for a year or so, and then you quit your job I'm taking care of all the bills at this point, and we've now gone from 50-50 to me taking care of everything without even a
Yes.
conversation.
And you having to work 2 jobs to make it
Yeah.
happen. And you're still a student.
Yeah. All right. Before I proceed with this scenario, that's kind of almost where he's at fault for. And not at fault to her, but he's at fault to himself for initially allowing this advantage to be taken of him.
Okay.
Nobody told you to go get another. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't the nice and good thing to do, but the good thing to do isn't always the right thing to do, because obviously it is now backfired and it's causing you some detriment. So clearly, there should have been some boundaries set, but you didn't set them. And this is normal human behavior. When you don't set boundaries, people, and you didn't set those boundaries, once somebody overstepped those boundaries, then they're going to continue their behavior.
Yeah.
You know? And not to say that she wasn't wrong for her behavior, but if you allowed it, then she's not even aware of the fact that what she did was not okay. Not saying that she's not responsible for that, but you're responsible for also setting your boundaries, because she's doing this to you. So that's where that's what he's faltered at, I feel like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Because again, going back to the scenario of if it was us, I don't know that I take on a second job and just allow you to do this without this conversation. I don't know if we ever even get to the point of like, you're not working and then I took on a second job, or I started paying like the entire bill so you could go and do this. I'm much more dominant, I guess, in that sense, not in a bad way, but I will speak up. Like,
you're going to ask questions. Like, we're not going to just not have conversations.
Yeah. And I'm absolutely supportive, and I'm a supportive guy. Like, whatever you do, absolutely. Like, I'm down for it. I'll invest in it. I'll put money towards it, whatever. But also, you got kids that aren't mine. And while I do contribute and will contribute, at the same time, it's not technically my responsibility. Those should be your responsibility first. Mm-hmm. And because if you start becoming dependent on me for that, again, you risk the consequence of me waking up one day and deciding that I don't want to be with you anymore.
Yeah.
And now your kids have to suffer.
Yeah.
Now you have other people to look at. So that's where, that's again, if it was us in that scenario, there's no world where I take on a second job and we don't have the conversation of like, no, you can't quit your job.
It's like, that's so crazy.
No, no.
Yeah. That is something that you absolutely talk about.
Yeah.
And you talk about it before it happens.
Yeah.
Like, she just like quit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey, I quit my job. Don't want to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, mm-hmm. And I mean, like, I've been in a situation where I was like miserable at my job. We had conversations
for sure, and you kept working them until a better situation presented itself.
Exactly. When you have kids and you do have bills to pay, and stability is so important. But I guess it's more important to others. And some people just don't think about it.
Yeah, something he did, and it's, again, not saying it's his fault, but something he's allowed has caused her to say, "Oh, I can do this. Like, I can, you know what I mean?
I can do this.
I can do this.
He's gonna make sure we are okay."
Yeah. And I don't think you would ever pull that.
He sounds like a stand-up guy, but now he's sped up. He's given her some months.
What does he do? Right? It's like he has to pay his bills. Yes. So now he is in a predicament where he has to pay his bills. She lives with them with a child.
Yeah.
And this is why I say, and I know we can't, I started this off with you can't rewind, but these are the reasons. And you're going to learn this lesson because you are going to have to act. The question was, how can I have this conversation and it not become a fight? Now, I don't know her personality, but if you're asking that question, that means you think it's going to be a fight. And my response to that is, you can't. It's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I don't. The question you're asking is it has no point to it. There's no, either you don't have the conversation or you do, like, that there's no comfortable way to tell somebody that, like, especially a woman with a child, that they're going to that you need them to vacate the premises, right?
Yeah.
So
Because now she's put herself in a situation where, like, if he makes her move, she now doesn't have a job.
yeah, Yeah.
And cannot provide for her and her child.
yeah,
That is just the craziest thing to.
yeah. You've kind of caused this, right? You didn't cause this. Your reaction to her behavior is what has turned into the situation you're in now. Everybody's accountable for their own actions.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking away from you from being, like, noble. It's noble. It's noble that you went on and took 2 jobs. It's your girl. I get it. Absolutely. But I don't know what you, like, when you were uncomfortable with it initially and you didn't speak up, that was your lack of communication.
Yeah.
She already lacked in communication. You can't control her. Like, those are the uncontrollables. I can only talk to you because you're the one writing this in, and you failed to control that. Again, we can't go back in history and change the time. But your question now is predicated on the history not even existing. It exists, so you're now at a standstill where the question you're asking of how do I have this conversation with her without turning into a fight? There's not a positive answer for that. The answer is you can't. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be upsetting. You are going to feel probably guilty because you seem like the guy who, clearly you took on this responsibility.
Yeah.
So it's going to be your own fight with your own conscience. I do want to say that you won't be wrong. You're allowed to feel how you want to feel, and you're allowed to set boundaries.
Yeah.
I would say there's probably a softer way of going about this.
Okay.
And that would only solely for me being allowing her to, if you can handle it, it's up to you. But if you can handle it, allowing her to get on her feet first, and then maybe helping her right into a new place. Maybe kind of ease it. It's gonna be awkward. But what else?
Yes.
She doesn't have a choice. You hold all the cards. So
You do.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to say. Like,
that's why I have a hard time, like, with anyone who wants to rely on their partner, especially when you're a year in. I just find that to be really crazy to, like, you're allowing that person to, what is that saying? There's, like, a saying that, like, oh my goodness, this is going to annoy me if I don't get it right. But it's basically something along the lines of, like,
fool me like twice, you can't get fooled again.
Something along the lines of, like, if you allow someone to, what is it? Oh my gosh, help me out. If you allow someone to, like, feed you, you're giving them permission to also starve you as well.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh gosh, what is it?
I like it, but I don't know.
It's something similar.
Proverbs 32. I don't know that one, but I like it.
No,
it's a dope one.
It is something similar, not in those words. Okay. But it essentially is, like, telling you, like, if you give someone the power,
the power
to like feed you and care for you, and you're not able to, like, do it for yourself, essentially, you also are giving them the power to starve you.
Yeah.
And to put you in situations where, like, like you can't get out of it in an easy way. So a lot of, like, stay-at-home moms find themselves in that type of situation where they allow their partner to, care for them, and their partners, their husbands, the ones that are feeding them and providing for them, etc. But you're also giving them the power to be able to strip that away from you.
Yeah, for sure.
At the same time. And of course we want to put all of our trust into our partner. Absolutely. But we all have heard of the crazy stories, the things that happen where, like, the wonderful husband, ends up taking everything from the stay-at-home mom, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so I just say that to say, like, be careful. Like, when you're a year in, don't jump in and, like, quit your job and allow the person to just care for you and your 5-year-old child. Like,
yeah. Like, well, and that's the thing. It's like, if this was her writing in, then I'd have advice for her.
Yeah.
Right? Clearly, that's a problem.
but I guess, like, you know, shit happens, things change, right?
Yeah.
You just don't truly know the outcome. So I'm sure
Sure.
for him, it kind of like got a roommate in a way, like, which was his girlfriend,
Yeah.
because he did have a roommate. The roommate moved out and
Yeah.
he moved her in, and they decided to do 50-50 on the bills.
Sure.
He wasn't expecting her to, like,
Yeah.
just quit his job.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, these are again, you know, I hate to fault you for this, but it is going to be a lesson learned. And we have to learn these type of lessons. And I hate that it has to turn out this way, because it's happening to good people, but good people have to learn lessons too, right? Like, good people who, and I'm not saying this is what you did, but like, when there's a good person who lets people walk all over them or allows too many people to disrespect them or cross boundaries, like, you're the one who's hurt in the long run. Again, I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I'm just saying, like, as an analogy, somebody can be a good person and still have to face consequences and learn from those. And unfortunately, it's probably going to harden you a little bit, but in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to turn into an a-hole or you know, have a brick heart or anything, or ice box where your heart used to be. Nothing like that. However, you will learn to set those boundaries, to say, okay, like, let me dial it back. I've been through this before, you know, and that's the beauty of life, right? Like, you go through kind of the hardships, and this is passable. This is overcomable, right? Like, this isn't the worst thing that can happen in a relationship. It's going to be an uncomfortable conversation, and it is sad for the daughter, but also a learning experience for her as well, because she also does need to learn something from this, and I hope she does.
I hope so too.
And on her end, it's like, again, like you said, shit happens. People fall in love. Maybe you guys fell for each other quick. So I totally get that. I'm not here to judge her on how quickly she moved in with you with a daughter. You know, I would say, personally, because of situations like this, like, be a little more cautious, for her, you know, talking to her. You got a daughter. You got to look out for your daughter first. And so if you move in with the guy and then become solely dependable on the guy, yeah, these are the consequences of that, especially when you did it without even communicating it with him. Yeah, it's about to be a little tough for her as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it sounds like both people are about to get a learning experience from this,
which is what we're here for. That's what the human experience is all about.
Yeah. So, you know, and going back to you were talking about earlier, when, like, you know, well, even based on something like this, where it's, I always laugh at, and this is going on a super tangent, but it's like when they talk about back in the day, when, like, oh, my grandma stayed with my grandfather for, you know, 40 plus years, 50 plus years. And I always laugh at that rhetoric, because it's like, yeah, she didn't have a choice. Like,
no choice. She didn't have a job.
She didn't have a job. She didn't have a bank account.
She didn't have a
like,
car.
She didn't have a car. Like, duh. Like, she couldn't go nowhere, bro.
She was stuck, and your grandmother is miserable. I can tell you that right now. She has wasted her life with your grandfather. Are you kidding?
Listen,
I can't
man,
stand that.
I know.
That's why the older generation couples are miserable.
They talk about, like, all the old couples stayed together. Bro, they didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice. Okay? Grandma couldn't go nowhere.
She couldn't.
Grandfather had 3 families. 2 of them was a secret. Like, and she knew about both of them. Like, she couldn't go nowhere. I'm sorry. It wasn't her.
Gosh.
And it wasn't her buckling down and being like, you know, I'm going to hold the family down. No, she didn't have nowhere to go.
No.
That's all it was. I'm sorry, guys, because we see what happens as soon as women gain their freedom, right? Like, I don't want to call it freedom, right? They were free, but, like, as soon as women get a little bit of rights, like, they're out, right?
So it's rights, like, give us a little bit of money.
yeah, like, stay out the dub, bro. I'm sorry. That's how
we're like, outside.
You can look at statistics. It's just how it works, right? So, anyways, I thought it was funny when you were talking about, like, her not having nowhere to go and so forth and so on.
Yeah. It's gonna be so rough for her to get on her feet.
Yeah.
But people just, you know, you come into a relationship and you have like the same, you know, like outlooks on life and same goals and things that you want, but then like over time it can change.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at that point, like that's not your person anymore.
Yeah. No,
And I
for
feel
sure.
like that is
or it can be if you like
if you can
if you have the
compromise.
conversation.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Kids, somebody not wanting kids and then somebody wanting kids can be compromised. There can be a world where like the person who didn't want kids might change their mind over time. I remember watching one of my favorite movies is it's a rom-com. It's got a bunch of people in it. There's like multiple stories going on, and one of them is there's Ben Affleck's in it, and he doesn't believe in marriage, but the woman he's with in the movie, by the end of the movie, he realizes that like his personal beliefs, they mean nothing because he loves this woman and love kind of trumps it. And it wasn't even about, she had accepted that they weren't going to get married. He was committed to her, dedicated to her. She had accepted it, but he knew she wanted to be married to him. And it wasn't about the marriage thing. Even for her, it was for him. It was like, no, this is what she wants. And my personal kind of like gripes with marriage and my personal experiences with it they don't trump the love that I have for her. And so he ended up proposing to her. What is that movie? I don't know. It's got a bunch of Justin Long in it. It's got I don't know. It's got a bunch of people in it because it's like multiple couples and they all kind of intertwine a little bit. I don't know.
That's one thing I can't stand is like when I can't remember
something. It's got
something.
Bradley Cooper in it, and he's like cheating on his wife.
I feel like you just told me to watch this like recently.
One of my favorite movies. Anyways, but so yeah, there's a world. I know I went off on a tangent, but there's a world where, where you two people. One person changes and the other person is like, you know what, I can live with that.
Yeah.
You owe it to her. Like, again, you guys, it could be an age thing. She owes it to you to have the conversation and not put these things on you, but you owe it to yourself, to somebody that does take advantage of you. Because I assume that like, it wasn't like ill intent involved in what she did, right? She did take advantage and it was selfish, but I don't think there was ill intent in her doing it. It was wrong, but I don't think she was like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of him. Like, I'm going to quit my job. Like, you guys are in a relationship. You love each other. She might have just assumed and prematurely assumed, and that's not okay, but it also is something that like can be a mistake. It was just a mistake, it sounds like, that she made. Again, if you guys really love each other, she knows she has a daughter, right? So I don't think this was one of those things where it's like, I'm gonna take advantage of this guy and drop out and be a TikToker and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it was just like a lapse of judgment, and again, something that she'll learn from. So not to be too harsh on her, but yeah, I just think if you've kind of come to the decision to move her out, the answer to that is there's not a way to do it without a fight. I don't know her, so I mean, I can't answer that. Like, maybe she's not a confrontational person, or maybe everything makes her mad. I don't know. Like you're asking that. Like, how would a normal girl take it? Probably be fairly upset. Maybe some girls would understand. Maybe some wouldn't. I don't know how to answer that. You know her like maturity level and her like emotional intelligence, right? So I can't answer that. But what I can say is it's probably going to be a little bit of turmoil. Yeah.
I would imagine she's not going to be like, oh, okay, I understand. Like, no, because like her life is about to change. I feel like people react, and sometimes like irrational ways as well, when they know that they are in like, deep waters, because like she's gonna have to definitely get a job, so that she can take care of her and her child as well, and find a place. Or maybe that means moving back in with a parent, and she's like not gonna be too happy about that. Like who knows like what her situation will be. So yeah, I would imagine just depending on all of those like factors, I think like any woman would be like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Hopefully she
You
takes
believe
it well, right? Like of course we want to have like these conversations in like a healthy way, and we just hope that they all turn out like
Yeah.
okay at the end of the day. I do love your idea of giving her some time to
Yeah.
get back on her feet.
Sure.
I I love that for like any sort of roommate or like relationship that you're in, whether it be like a family member or friend or whatever, if you're living with somebody, because it does show that you care, and you do care about like their well-being and them being okay after all of this.
Yeah.
But I do think that a boundary needs to be set, a date needs to be set.
That's true. Yeah.
Because
do the date
I think
thing.
that's important, because
Yeah.
people will definitely, I mean, they will stay as long as you let them, because like,
we've had the conversations where I won't let nobody stay with you. Like when you asked, I'm like, no, they ain't staying with us because I know how this turns out.
yeah, a few days
And then I have
turns into
to-
a week,
and
a
that's the
week
thing.
turns into a month.
And that's actually a good example, because I know that about both of us, that somebody who's asked to stay that needs help, a family member or a friend, it's not about like me being an asshole and saying, no, you can't stay. It's about the uncomfortable conversation that I don't want to have when I know that like it's time for them to
It's
leave
time,
because they have
yes.
overstayed their welcome. Even if I've set a date, people will try to take advantage of that. And no fault of their own. People struggle. I get it. But I stick to my boundaries.
Yes.
I don't get to that place of having to have that conversation for that very reason. And it's probably because at some point in my life, I've learned that lesson. I don't
Yeah.
remember when, because I haven't really done the whole roommate thing. But at some point, I've probably had to have an uncomfortable conversation because I didn't set some boundaries in the beginning of something that was started. And I don't do it. I won't let you do it.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact you will let them take advantage because you'll be nice. And then I got to step in and be the asshole. And it's like, nope, we'll stop this now. Hey,
Yeah.
we do not let people stay with us. Hey, no, listen, we can't do the loans. Obviously I've loaned out money, but it's like one of those, I set that boundary because I know when that time comes and I got to have that uncomfortable conversation. That's something I'm, number one, don't want to do, not willing. I mean, I'm willing to do it, but it's like, no, we're not even going to get to that point. And that's what I think he will learn from this. But I do want to say one more thing before I'm done speaking my piece. I would say it sounds like you made your final decision because the question you've posed is how to remove her. But what I would say, because I don't know if you've done this, is sit down and think to yourself and go over, because right now it sounds reactionary, right? Like I'm fed up, she's done this and I'm mad and all this. Depending on how much you like the girl. Like if there's some space where you're like, if she didn't do all this, I would still continue the relationship with the girl. It could be worth reviewing. Maybe sit down with yourself and kind of hash it out, right? Hash it out and say, okay, do I really want to carry on a relationship with this girl? Could I see myself maybe having children with this girl? Could I see myself maybe really want to carry in this relationship forward? And the only reason I'm just like upset right now is because I'm reacting to this behavior that she had. And you didn't have that conversation. You have not communicated with her. So you haven't even given her a chance, right? Like, and that's the one part I hate is like, we immediately jump to, and I'm not faulting this guy. I'm not faulting you. But I'm saying we immediately jump to, like extreme consequence, before we even allow our partner to respond.
Yeah.
We do this a lot. And it's like, you've already projected like how this is going to go. And it's like, maybe if you have the conversation and it's maybe a small chance, but there's still that small chance where she's like, damn, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I really didn't even consider that. And no, I'll start looking for a job now. I'll pursue my TikTok thing. Like, what if that's her response?
Wow.
I don't know if he said that.
I didn't even think of that.
I don't know if he said that in the thing. Because again,
No, he
sometimes
didn't.
you read it fast and then I'm spitballing out like a bunch of thoughts that I have and trying to remember everything. But I think we do this all the time. We don't even give our partner like the we don't even give our, because we just communication. We don't even give our partner like the chance to respond in a healthy way. And you're kind of like, it's almost unfair.
Yeah.
Now, because here's the other part. If she doesn't respond in an amicable, positive way, that's more confirmation for you. That's more ammunition for you to be like, nope, you know what? This is the right decision.
Yes. Oh, that is
But
so
you
true.
get to kill two birds with one stone. You either get, again, this is only, if you don't want to carry on things with her because you're already just kind of fed up with it, cool, fine. I'm not mad at that. You're allowed to feel that way. But if there's, like, sit down with yourself and be like, okay, I'm upset right now. Would I want to carry on with this girl if she did go get a job and she did start contributing again? And like, do I really want to kick her out? Because you're already conflicted about this decision you have to make, about this conversation you have to have, right?
Yeah.
So you're not that, I mean, you are fed up, but it sounds like you're still a little conflicted. Like if you're super mad, you'd be like, I don't care how this happens. I'm getting her out of my house. So if you care to continue the relationship at some point, or even from now on, give her the chance to at least respond to how you feel about things. That's just, and that goes for advice in all relationships. Give your partner that, like, you're not being honest, and then you're punishing her for your lack of honesty.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to flip this on you, but your lack of honesty lies in the fact that, like, you didn't set these boundaries. She doesn't know. I mean, from my understanding, she doesn't even know you're upset about this.
Yeah.
And maybe she should. Maybe her selfishness, it's unwarranted for sure, but she still doesn't know, right? These are teaching moments. These are learning lessons. As in a relationship, we got to grow and learn how to treat each other, because other girls are going to do things that might seem selfish or might seem to take advantage of you. And like, is this your reaction every time? Or do you pull back and be like, you know what? She's like, just like, it's a lapse in judgment. Let me tell her how I feel and see how she reacts to that. Because that'll let you know, like, if you tell her how you feel and like her response to that is something positive, that's a rarity, dude. Like, it's very rare that you tell somebody how you feel and they dial back and they're like, oh shit, you know what? Like, I'm sorry. I didn't even consider that, right? Like, most people don't respond that way. So like, you might let somebody go who is actually super receptive to your feelings. And because that's such a rarity to find, like, it's something you don't want to let go if you really care about the girl. So again, like my motto is like, give them the chance to respond if you care about carrying on the relationship, and then respond accordingly, like move accordingly, because you never know how your partner is gonna respond, and you're not even giving them the chance because you're being dishonest. So that's all I got.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I'm right there with you. I think that, like we've even had certain conversations like in the past, and because like you have had those like deep, like hard conversations with me, it has opened my eyes to certain things, and would help make me a little more like self-aware in the moment in whatever situation like we're discussing.
Yeah.
And I feel like any woman who wants a healthy relationship, of course, I feel like that's so important.
Yeah.
But like would really appreciate their partner having the conversation and giving them the opportunity to like correct themselves or like, make some changes.
Yeah.
Because she could definitely be very open to it, especially if you know what the outcome could be if you don't make that change.
Yeah. And the good part of that is like, if she's not receptive, if she totally shuts it down, you'll feel a little bit better about saying you got to go.
Oh yes, you'll definitely feel better.
I'm telling you,
now
like
it's
it works
not like
for you either way.
Like I feel like I just kicked a good girl out of my home. Like no,
Hey, like,
she's
nope.
like now showed you.
Yeah, her true colors, who she is. Also, again, I keep saying last thing. Last thing is when you tell somebody your feelings about them doing something wrong, 99% of people, that is a statistic I just made up, but most people will immediately, first of all, go into defense mode. So her first reaction may be defense mode, but then a lot of times, or I won't say a lot of times, but many times and sometimes people wake up the next day and have sat with their thoughts and come back and say, hey, you're right. Okay.
Yes.
So just keep in mind that when you tell somebody they're wrong or they're treating you bad or they're making you feel bad, most people get defensive because their ego says, I'm a good person. Whatever you're feeling is not a representative of who and what I am. So you're wrong. That's just ego speaking. People that are good-hearted,
reaction.
people that are good-hearted and have some emotional intelligence will sit with that after a while, and it'll resonate, and they'll come back and say. Some people will do it immediately. Some people will come back and do it, and some people will never do it. And again, you'll have your answer, and you'll have your decision going forward based on whatever path that she chooses. And that's all I'll say about that. That's because that's just, again, human behavior. People don't like to be confronted with like them hurting somebody. So just, keep that in mind. And that's all I got.
Yeah. No, that's great. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
For this episode.
That's all I got. Yeah. Good luck. Hope it's not a fight, man. Good luck. I hope y'all don't fight about this. I know it's hard. Hopefully the young child is, we didn't discuss the child part much, but
we did not. Yeah.
I just feel like that's just kind of like a sub, like this exists whether she has a child or not. The child does add a little bit of hardship to it for sure, or a lot, maybe a lot.
That's true, because he does care about the child, and but
it doesn't change what you need to do.
Yeah, the child unfortunately didn't do the things. It was her. So, and you still have to
and it's you that wrote in, not her. Otherwise, my advice would be totally different to a girl who has a child.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you disagree with anything we said today, we'd love to hear from you. And if you agree with anything that we said today, we'd love to hear you. Dive deep, dig deep. Tell us where you might think we're wrong. Tell us where you might think we're right. Tell us your experiences with anything. We'd love to hear them. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Love It for Debate. I am Breeze Oliver.
Crucy Drake.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
See you next time.